Hello, this is David Kevelich, founder of Badass Labs. I wanted to make a quick presentation to show how we make the glass water bottles we are using for fundraising. This is a special behind-the-scenes look at the process. Badass Labs is a personal passion and is focused on improving the human condition, from offering laboratory space for the development of next-generation medicines and therapies, to a strong focus on making science more accessible through a wide variety of STEM educational programs. We here at Badass Labs are doing everything we can to make this a better place to live. The glass water bottles that we are using for our fundraiser reflect that passion. We chose glass for several reasons. Each reusable bottle can eliminate hundreds of disposable plastic water bottles. Glass is completely recyclable, so when you're tired of it, it can be made into something else quite easily. Glass doesn't leach chemicals like plastic, and it takes a great deal less energy than aluminum or stainless steel to be manufactured. We should all drink more water to stay healthy. Our glass water bottles represent our commitment to health, protecting the environment, and just bringing some beauty to the world. Several people have asked what company makes the bottles for us. In fact, we make them ourselves. From design to etching to the final polish, the dedicated volunteers and I handcraft each bottle. We decided to go with etching because that creates a permanent imprint on the glass that will never wear off. It's more effort, but you deserve it. So please join me in this short presentation behind the scenes and see how we take a plain glass bottle and transform it into something special. The first step in creating these bottles was the design that we wanted to put on them. We wanted to come up with something that was different from others, but really obvious in its intent. And this was difficult because there's a large number of competitors on the market. Initially, we went with pictures and maybe some abstract art, but we ended up settling on simple words that convey exactly what we wanted to mean. I mean, after all, what says water bottle better than the words for water? We thought to use some of the most popular languages around the world. However, languages like Chinese or Japanese were just too difficult to make the characters just right in the stencil, and in any event, those characters would take up very little space, and we wanted to fill as much of the bottle surface as we could. So finally, we settled on English, Spanish, and French. Since the French word for water, eau, was small, we added a stylized water drop to fill the space. Now we're on to the second step, and now we have to make the template that we're going to use. Once we had the basic concept, it had to be converted into this stencil. And so we wanted it to cover the majority of the space on the bottle itself, and yet leave room for personalization. So this template we have here took about half a dozen incarnations to get it just to this point. And I know that seems really simple and kind of hard to believe, but originally we thought, do we want the words to be horizontal? Do we want them to be at an angle? Exactly how we wanted them to look, took a lot of different tries. And we eventually settled on vertical because that would make it very easy to see, since usually the bottle's going to be stored upright. Now we had to cut the stencil. And this actually turned out to be kind of a challenge. And so we printed the stencil out on an adhesive sheet, and then we had to cut out the letters and the design. This was easily the most difficult part, taking usually around 40 minutes for each stencil. And here's an example of it after it's been cut. And these are all cut by hand. And so there are small variations, making each bottle unique. Quite a bit of effort went into this, since each stencil can only be used once. The next step was to apply the template to the bottle itself to get it ready for the etching. This was actually harder than it seemed, because to remove the sticker from the backing, particularly the curl in the G or the long piece of the U, was really difficult because those are very, very fragile. And we ended up tearing them more often than not. So that took several tries before we figured out exactly how to do it. Then we had to actually put that sheet onto the bottle itself. And that would seem pretty easy, but it turns out the bottle is not actually a perfect cylinder. It's tapered at the top and the bottom. And so you had to adjust the stencil as you were applying it so that you didn't get over wrinkles in it. And you can see on a couple of them we have very small wrinkles, and you have to really rub those down very, very hard so that the etching cream doesn't sneak underneath and ruin the clean line. Now we're finally at the actual etching phase. Once the template was secure, it was time to etch. So we take the etching cream and we hand paint it onto the glass, and we allow it to sit for an extended period so that we get a very bold, deep etch. And basically what the cream is doing is it's actually degrading the glass surface so that it ends up with the frosted effect that you saw. So we're almost done. So now that we've etched the bottles, we have to wash off that etching cream and then remove the stencil. So remember that I said that the etching was permanent? Well, to remove the stencil, we actually have to use steel wool. And we use that to, one, polish off all of the stencil itself, but it also helps to set the etching section and make the glass gleam really, really shiny. If you were to do that with a silk screen bottle, the silk screening would come right off. So this is what I mean by etching as being very permanent, and this is an extremely durable surface. That's it. Hey, thanks for watching this presentation. You know, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I want to direct you to our website so that you can find out how to get one for yourself. Or, if you're interested, send me a quick email and let me know. We can personalize these as well for a small additional cost. Thanks. I look forward to hearing from you.